Hey guys, welcome back to Laugh with Jasmine, where I talk about mental health because my mind matters and I talk about it. So this is part 3, job 3 of why I lost my job and how it affects me to this day. So in the last video, we talked about my job at this fast food restaurant. That ended in August of 2016. So now we're going to fast forward to March of 2018. And I will be turning 21 in the same month. And this was at a honey shop. Overall, it was really great. Like, I got along really well with a lot of my coworkers, and I had a lot of fun times. I made good friends, and I learned a lot about bees and honey, and I loved it. It became a passion of mine. I mean, growing up for the past 20 years, I was terrified of bees. I didn't want anything to do with bees because they sting you and it triggers my trypanophobia. I didn't want anything to do with bees. I didn't even like honey just because I didn't like honey. But I started working at this honey shop and I started learning about bees and how awesome they are, and now I think their cute little butts are adorable and I don't mind them at all. I mean, I'll mind them if like they get caught in my hair, which happened one time, but that was at home. I don't know how it didn't sting me, but that's a whole other story that I can talk about at the end of this video if you want me to. I love honey now. I eat honey all the freaking time, but it is always from this honey shop because I love this company so much and I trust it because I know what's in the products. I trust the honey because I know that it is completely raw and you know, the flavor of the honey actually comes from the flowers, and so it's not like infused with anything. And yeah, so I know a lot about honey now. Fun fact, bees say oops anytime they like bump heads with another bee in the hive. And it is the cutest thing ever. But yeah, anyways, overall this job was a really great job. And I lasted for a year and a half. I left it in June, I think, of 2019. And I did have a lot of good experiences there. Gained some good knowledge, gained some good friends. But if it was all, you know, happy rainbows and sunshine all the time, I wouldn't be making this video. Let's go ahead and get into the not so good things. I feel like during this time that I had this job, my depression was already like really, really low. It was really heavy on me, and I think a part of that was because at this time I had met Braulio. He had ghosted me at that time, and so I'm already in love with this dude, but I'm struggling with the fact that he's not mine at the moment. And so I'm going through depression, and it was a really, really hard time. And then working at this honey shop, it was at Broadway at the beach, which is a big tourist place. And so there's these cute couples that you see around all the time. They're just happy, holding hands. They're young, they're cute, and it's hard. It's hard to be in that atmosphere, wanting what they have but not having it. And so already my mental health it's low. It is so low. It is the lowest. This is the year when a majority of the time I was planning on unaliving myself. Like, this was the year when I started planning my attempt. That's how bad my mental health was. I'm trying to come up with where to start on this. Like, where did this all start? And I mean, of course there's like the little things, like the little mistakes, like giving a customer the wrong information or blah 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 blah, little things like that. But I never really was yelled at, and that is a really good thing about this place and the people I worked with. Was the managers and supervisors were really patient people, and they did not come up to you to yell at you for being so stupid, but they would pull you aside and they would kindly let you know, hey, you're doing great, but I just want to correct you on this one little thing. And that is a really good quality to have when you are running a store. So I really appreciate that about these people. I just felt intimidated around the general manager because of my trauma. I was intimidated by her every time I was working at the same time the general manager was. I felt really anxious. I just felt like I was gonna do something that was gonna make her snap at me. It never happened, thankfully. I'm very thankful that that never happened. But that's just how my other experiences have affected me, where I just have that anxiety that I'm gonna do one little thing and it's gonna just change the entire experience for me because it's gonna make them snap. So I guess it's gonna start with this. The first general manager, she was, like I said, a great person overall. I was just a little intimidated, but overall, she was great. She's awesome. She's a great person. It was just this one experience that I had with her that changed my mind about her. And it involves a key holder. So this guy, he was really fun to work with. He was really sweet. He always brought me food. But I feel like he was the kind of person that always looked over my shoulder. And that's something that I can't deal with that. I can't have someone looking over my shoulder all the time. Like, they're watching me because they think I'm doing it wrong. He and I started getting into disagreements a lot. I genuinely cannot remember what was going on, what the topics were on. I just remember we were texting and having this argument. I don't remember what it was about. I was really angry at him. We were texting and it was a very heated conversation. I was trying to advocate for myself. I had told him that I had been planning on killing myself that week. I don't remember why. I don't remember what happened. I don't know. Oh my gosh, I can't do this video if I can't remember what happened. It's not gonna help if you don't know what happened. We had this argument over text, and it got back to the general manager, which he was really good friends with. He was her husband's best friend. Or not, maybe not best friend, maybe they just served together. I don't know, whatever. They were good friends. It got back to her, and then she comes to me and she's telling me that I was in the wrong when the argument was all about him being in the wrong, but I don't remember what it was. Like, he must have treated me in some way that I decided I was going to stand up for myself for, and that's how it started. I'm pretty sure that's how it was. I was standing up for myself. Because that's something that I didn't do in my other jobs, was I didn't stand up for myself. But in this job, that's what I decided I was going to start doing. And so that's what I was doing. I don't know why, but that's what I was doing. And so it got back to the general manager, and she was telling me about how I was in the wrong. She was saying all this other stuff about me and how bad of an employee I was being, like how unprofessional I was. Like, dancing around and being happy and preppy was unprofessional. And then she was also defending him when he was the one that mistreated me. For some reason that I can't remember. After that, I wasn't really happy with her. I mean, what even is professionalism? I don't believe in that. I believe in having fun in the workplace. I mean, especially if you're working with customers and trying to sell something, you have to be happy and preppy. You have to draw them in. You have to make conversation with him and make, kind of friends with them. You have to make them feel comfortable. A few weeks later, after that incident, things with me and this guy are, I feel like they're escalating. I feel like the way he was treating me or his attitude towards me was getting worse, and then I was really uncomfortable with him, and I was feeling more guarded with him and ready to stand up for myself if he ever said anything out of line again. One night, I do something that was just a tiny minor mistake. A minor mistake. But he was pissed. And these are his exact words. I bet I could get away with killing you. And I don't really remember what my reply to that was, but I mumbled something, and then he turned back to me and he snapped at me and he said, "Do you want me to try?" I stormed away, and I got my phone out and I texted my manager, not my general manager, the other manager, the manager that wasn't all be professional. And I told her that he had just threatened to kill me. And so she told me that I had to write in a report or a complaint or something of the matter. I had to write up the incident. And after that, he and I were no longer allowed to work alone together. She made sure that I did not have to be in the store with him alone. Not because I felt scared of him, but just because I could not for my mental health, because our relationship was getting too toxic. Okay, so I'm sitting here editing this now, and and now that I'm thinking about it, I think this incident actually happened before the last incident. Like, I think this is actually what we were arguing about. I think this is what started that. So this came first, and then we had the heated text conversation, which got back to the general manager, and that's how that all happened. That's how that went down. That's probably what it was. And also, this manager that I texted, I had already talked to her about what had been going on between me and this guy. And so she told me the next time something came up to let her know about it, and she was going to handle it. So that's why I texted her immediately when he said these words. Even though I know that it was just an empty threat, but still should not have been said. But that is not the reason he got fired. Oh no, he stayed for a few more weeks. The reason why I got fired, him and the general manager, was some kind of money issue. There was something sketchy going on with them involving money. I don't know what it is. They would not release the details, but that was the rumor. And so, bada bing, bada boom, they both were out, and my manager became the general manager, and that was a great thing because in her eyes, the general manager was wrong about how professionalism is. Like, she agreed with me there. Like, it should be happy. We have music going. She was like, you are free to dance. Have fun. Like, that's exactly how a store should be, is fun and welcoming. And so that was really great. And she's a really great person to work for. She was just so kind, so patient, and I don't know, she was so chill. I mean, she was the boss when she had to be, yeah, but she was a great boss. And of course, I still felt intimidated by her just because of my own anxiety. So after that, like, it was a happy place again, and we were all just kind of like a happy family. And then our family expanded because we were opening a new store. And so we were training all the newbies, and it was a great time. We had these competitions, like how who can sell the most skincares. It was so much fun because we would literally race each other to the skincare bar. I almost won. I don't remember if I did win or if I came in second place. I think I did win. Everything's going great up until I had this conversation with this other woman that was working with us. And here's the thing. Ever since I started working at this job, every single night I swept, and I hate sweeping. And so I was talking with this other girl, and I was telling her, like, just lightheartedly, like, just saying how I hated sweeping. And I was like, you know, I'll do it. I'm playing with a ruler in case you hear me doing that. I was like, I'll do it because it's my job, but I'm just lightheartedly telling her that I hated sweeping because I sweep every night. Like, I was complaining about it, but I wasn't complaining about it. You know? So she ended up sweeping, and I was like, okay, cool. But then, a few days later, apparently the word had got around to my new manager, who I love dearly, but this is something that's been ongoing with us, is she misinterprets my words, or she'll twist my words around and she'll make it out to be something completely different, and then she'll make it a huge deal. Word had got around that I was complaining about sweeping because I sweep every night. Like, I don't mind sweeping because it's my job, like I was saying. Like, I don't mind it, and I was just being lighthearted about it. But word got around that I was complaining about it, and I made the other girl sweep. Like, I made her sweep. I did not. I was going to sweep, but she just got there before I did, and I just figured that she was being nice. So anyways, manager brings me into the office, which is already a big red flag to me. That already triggers so many things to me. And so she brings me in and sits me down, and then she's telling me what she heard, and she's telling me off about it. And I was like, that is not how I meant it at all. Okay, so remember the guy before? I'm not going to reveal anyone's name, so I'm just going to call him Maverick because his name is mentioned in what she says. Okay, so sitting down with her, she is telling me off for absolutely no reason at all, and she tells me we don't need another Maverick in here. The fact that she told me not to be a Maverick when that wasn't what I was being at all. I did not mean it to come out that way, and she should never have said anything to the manager because that's not how I meant it. That was just this huge insult to me, and that broke my heart hearing that come out of her mouth because I saw her as a mother to me. We got new rules called the 5 points of service, and they are ridiculous. They are absolutely the most stupid rules. I mean, like I said before, I believe that the workplace should be fun and inviting, and you need to make sure that every person that is working for you feels comfortable in your store. A trigger for me is being very strict. I don't remember a lot of the rules, but one that sticks out to me and becomes a problem later is the fact that as soon as a customer comes in the store, all personal conversation has to drop. Even if you're mid-sentence, conversation has to stop. even if you're telling your coworker something really, really important, that afterwards, you know, the moment's gonna be gone and you're never gonna have a moment again, a conversation has to stop as soon as a customer comes in. And I think that is just a kind of control that is really unnecessary. It's restricting, it's toxic, and it's stupid. It's ridiculous. Wish I could remember what the other ones were because I did not like any of them. But that was the biggest one that stuck out to me. Still to this day, they have those rules and it remains to be a problem. Anyways, so one day I come in and like I was just there for like five minutes. I was there for 5 minutes. And at this point, like my mental health has been so low because I'm working so much, so I don't have any time or motivation to do anything at home. And of course, my depression is just bad enough as it is, whatever I was dealing with. And so my depression was just at the absolute lowest point that it has ever been. So at this point, I was actually crying in the back office every single day and going home early a lot at this time. That's how depleted my mental health had gotten. So I hated going into work. I dreaded going to work every day. And I needed a break. I just needed a mental break. I come in and I'm there for like 5 minutes and my friend is there and we are planning a trip that weekend, and so I needed to have this conversation with her. I needed to talk to her like, what are the plans? And I knew that she was getting off in just a few minutes after I had gotten in. So I was like, the time has to be now. I have to talk to her. I start talking to her. And then customers walk in, and I'm thinking, you know, they're not going to be so strict on this. Like, there's no way that the people I work for really believe that they have to take a hold of these rules and use them as a whip. Well, she did. People walked in, and I'm trying to have this conversation with my friend. My manager came up to me, and she pulled me to the back, and we just had this huge argument, and I just said, I see no point to these rules. I think these rules are ridiculous, and I don't care for them. And she just kept saying these absurd things. I don't remember what she was saying exactly, but they were absurd. So I left. I was there for 5 minutes, and I left. On the road, I was having a complete mental breakdown. I was crying, and I called up the general manager, and I told her what had happened, what she had said to me, how she said that I was being a maverick. I told her that I was taking the rest of the week off because that's how bad my mental health was and I needed a break. And she said, okay. This goes on for a few weeks. Dealing with these new stupid rules. And I'm doing this meat tasting for this guy. And, you know, I'm pretty sure he was flirting with me too, but anyways, I'm doing this meat tasting, and I've done like 1,000 meat tastings. I don't drink alcohol at all, so I had no idea what any of the meats tasted like. And yet I helped a bride pick out 3 of the meats she wanted for her reception, and I am very proud of that. But anyways, I'm doing this meat tasting. And very routine, same thing I do every day. And this couple comes in, and they say, hey, we want to do meat tasting too. And I'm like, okay, great, you can go ahead and pay right over there, and then I will get to you whenever I'm done here. Which, you know, normally, yeah, I'd be fine. If I have just begun this other meat tasting, I would have gone ahead and had them jump right in, either started where he was or just start from the beginning and have them catch up. Like, I've done like 3, 4, 5 meat tastings at the same time before. But sometimes if I'm in the middle of the meat tasting and I'm almost done with it, I'll tell them to go ahead and wait, and that's fine. They're cool with that. So that's what I said. I said, okay, whenever I'm done with this guy, I'll get right to you. So they go ahead and they pay, and then they come right back and they say, okay, we're ready for our meat tasting. And I'm like, okay, I'm almost done, and then I'll get right to you. So I go on with this meat tasting, and they're standing there and they're waiting. And then you know what happens? They go back up to the registers and ask for a refund. They then wrote a complaint saying that I was rude. And so this was a cause for my general manager to once again call me into the back office. Once again, big red flag, major trigger for me. This is what she's telling me, is that they claim that I was rude to them. And she was telling me off for that, and I was telling her, wait, no, that's not how it happened. Like, I politely asked them to wait for me because I was almost done with this guy. It was their fault they weren't patient. But she was telling me off, and she was telling me that basically it was either I quit or I get fired. And so I quit. I couldn't do that anymore. That place got so toxic. It just got so toxic to me, and I could not be in that environment because my mental health was already at the lowest. And so it's really? It's gotta be a plane? I would say that was the end of that, but it actually wasn't, because I still remain to be really good friends with whoever's left there, which is just one person now. Over the past few years, like up until everyone left, I remained really good friends with everyone there. I would come back and I would visit them and have conversations with them. The one manager still remains to be a mother figure to me, and I love her very much. But she twisted my words again. I also remain to be really good friends with an employee there as well. And so I know that they continue to have the same ridiculous rules. And they've even added more rules and security cameras. And they're doing everything just for control of their employees. And so I came in to visit this lady that I see as my mom. And I'm, having this conversation with her, and I'm telling her, hey, like, these rules are kind of really stupid. They're ridiculous. And she's telling me firmly, this is how a business is run. And I'm like, no, it's not. I mean, there are several ways to run a business, but this is not a good way to do that. You're controlling your employees too much. It's toxic. It's restraining. It's not good. But she just said, I love you, but I'm not having this conversation with you. And then apparently she took my friend to the back and told her off for complaining about the rules. She somehow, from what I said, she interpreted it as her employee is fed up with the rules. And when I heard that, I was like, that's the last straw. She is not the one fed up with it. I am. And it was unfair of her to take it out on my friend, because she had nothing to do with it. She did not do anything wrong. She did not say anything negative about your damn rules. That was all me. I do not believe in your rules. Like, I cannot believe that anyone would think these rules are okay. That this is how a business is run. That was the last straw. After that, she's not my mama anymore. and I will never go back to that store. I am banning myself from it because it apparently just is not a good place for me to be, and I do not want to jeopardize my friend's job. And I've also decided it's not my problem. I am not working there anymore. I almost decided that I was going to work there again for temporary reasons. Yeah, I decided against that, thankfully. So it's not my problem. So I'm not going to spend my energy on it. I'm not going to care about it. And I'm never going to set foot in that store again, unless absolutely necessary, because that is where my best friend works. If she needs me, you know. But socializing reasons, never setting a foot in there again. And that leads me to this day. Not job-wise, I still have a few more videos to make on that, but that particular, the honey shop job-wise, that leads me to where I'm at this day. I hope I got everything out. Thank you guys for watching. Please stay tuned for the rest of my videos for this series to hear all the stories and to get to the end so you can see, like, how everything affects me to this day. Be sure to subscribe and check out all my other videos, and also please support me by checking out my links in the description. Check out my photography page and my Etsy shop where I'm selling paracord bracelets. This is a dog collar that I just made for my dog's birthday. But yeah, I'm selling paracord bracelets and hand-painted mugs, so check out my Etsy shop. Please, please, please support me because I really need it. Stay real and have a super sparkly day.